Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. So we got Kennedy, Laura, and Carissa, as I say it?
Carissa, yeah.
Carissa, it's pretty. Okay. So yeah, we'll just start, and that way people come, they can just jump in.
I think we're just missing, is his name Tony?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's all we're missing.
Okay. Just making sure I don't have any messages. I don't, so hopefully he's able to connect. All right, so we're supposed to start with reading the scenarios. I'm just going straight off the worksheet because that's the same thing that's on the assignment.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, so it says instructions. How are you as a health educator going to use the, somebody help me with that, theoretical stages of change models process to handle a health issue and move people through stages. This assignment is designed to guide you through the steps of the assignment. Type your answers directly onto this document as you complete the steps below. So, and the first one is give a brief explanation of the model, including each stage and the corresponding process that moves people through the stages. Oh. You guys remember each stage? I think this is it.
Yeah, so there's a picture. I think it's on the discussion board as well.
Is it the pre-contemplation and
the trans-theoretical model.
The pre-contemplation and then the contemplation and then the action and then the
maintenance.
And that was pretty much it, right? It doesn't say.
Yeah, so the 5 steps and then the little bridges, so how to get from step to step.
We need that one probably.
Yeah, so using that picture is how I answered number 1. And you just write it out in paragraph format.
Form instead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then number 2, read the following scenarios. Do you each want to take one of those scenarios?
Sure, I can read one.
Thanks.
You read the first one.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, let me just see. Group meeting. Okay. Scenario 1, you are a health educator on the BYUI campus working with a group of young men who are spending in excess of 16 to 20 hours per week playing violent video games. These young men are struggling academically at school. Upon initial interview with these young men, none of them feel like they have a problem and are happy with the amount of time they spend gaming. May I read the second one too? I'm happy.
Sure. Yeah.
You are a health educator on the BYUI campus. Your roommate or spouse is struggling with depressive symptoms but is not seeking help. How do you use the trans-theoretical / stages of change model to develop interventions centered on the processes to move him or her through the stages? Understand that you need to do some preliminary research on working with individuals with mental health issues. Working with this population is not just a quick fix. Understand the target population from their perspective.
To follow the framework. Okay, so we're supposed to select one of the scenarios above and complete the table by developing and explaining specific interventions from the list of
For my worksheet, I did the video game one.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it matters what we all do.
Yeah, we can do either one. I have a lot of experience with people with mental health issues, so because it's like, understand you need to have some preliminary research on working with individuals. So the other one might be a little bit easier because it is so true. The mental health, as I was reading that one earlier, I was like, yeah, that one's a little more involved than like, I don't know. I think that would be hard. Actually, that one like made me feel depressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine if it was my spouse. It's my kids that have couple of my older boys have mental health issues. I'm like, oh man, can't even imagine if it was my spouse. It's so horrible, hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do the video game one. So I think first we would have to figure out. So it wants us to look at the interventions. I think our first one needs to be, we've got to figure out like where they're at, right? What's already at, and it sounds like they're. Let's see, it said in there, didn't it? What stage? Like they're not even in. They don't think they have a problem.
They're in pre-contemplation, so that means they have no intent or desire to change. They're uninformed about the consequences or have failed previously at trying to change.
So I think maybe, I was thinking like education would be the first one. What do you guys think?
I did health education strategies for that first, consciousness raising.
Just so they understand like why it could be a problem and
it might
create
make
some awareness.
the connection. Yeah. Like if they can make that connection between your grades are bad and you're spending a lot of time doing video games.
Yeah.
And video games is
well, and I doubt that their grades are the only thing suffering.
Yeah.
right. True. Well, if they're spending that much time, they say there's time for like 3 things in college, and it's like sleeping, studying, or partying. So if they're spending 16 to 20 hours doing video games, which might qualify as partying, then they're either lacking in sleep or, I don't know, probably social. Okay, so education strategies. Explanation of the intervention, like how would you educate? A bunch of guys that are spending 16. Maybe the lunchroom, maybe on the pizza box, make a deal with the pizza company.
I think any way to educate them how the video games are affecting their grades and social life. So any way that you could reach them. As a college student, what do you think?
I think that like it would be super important to use like statistics and facts, because if you're just a random person coming in and telling, especially boys who can be stubborn, like this is bad for you, you shouldn't do this, then obviously they're not going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
and they might have some kind of like retort of like why video games aren't bad. Or I've had that experience before where it's like, oh yeah, well this helps my hand-eye coordination or whatever. And so I think you'd have to have some you'd have to have some solid proof, some solid education.
Solid evidence, right?
Yeah, solid evidence.
And then how to present it, I was thinking maybe you could work with the school to talk to some teachers and be like, this is a problem. Can you play this advertisement before each of your classes for a week or something? And then, the advertisement would be like, do you spend 16 to 20 hours on video games?
Mm-hmm.
And then it would present the statistics and the facts found with that or something. But I can't imagine that they're, if they're doing that much time video gaming, I bet they're not watching TV or I'm, trying to think or listening to music. I'm trying to think of other ways that we would advertise that to them. Maybe on posters, but if you could get the school involved, that would be, especially if they've got struggling grades, and especially on a campus like BYUI, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess getting the school involved could fall under still an education strategy, but it could also be an environmental strategy, right?
Yeah, because that's their environment that they're in.
Or a social even. Oh, I had another idea. I had an idea. You could throw a video game social, so in a gym or somewhere, set up a whole bunch of video games, get them all to come attend it, right? Because it's a gaming club thing, but then play the advertisement at the beginning about the effect of violent video games, and then just make sure all the video games that they play during the gaming social are not violent.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, that would be like a social intervention, right?
Yeah.
All still under the intervention phase, or under the pre-contemplation and contemplation phase, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to me it seems like they've divided the categories by that middle processes. So like that first box would go with the consciousness raising, and then the second box is dramatic relief and so forth.
Okay. So under the intervention box, you didn't use the health communication, health environment, environment related, behavior modification. Did you put all of those?
For the third box, I put environmental change strategies because it's the environmental reevaluation.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did.
For the third one.
Yeah.
Okay, so then on the fourth one, it says preparation, self-reevaluation. So that is like making a plan to change, right?
Preparation is the intent to take action soon, so like within a month or so, and they have a developed plan of action or have fallen back from it. They've regrouped and are ready to try again.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding what we're supposed to put in each box. I was just gonna see if someone could just share their screen of what they're typing in, because I don't know what, like, because it has all the processes and stuff, and I don't get what we're supposed to do.
So I'm actually just writing it as we go, but I'm not typing it. So pre-contemplation, then there's the processes. Then intervention, the first box would say health educational strategies. And then the next one, explanation of intervention, is how you're going to get the school involved with the informational video to educate them how the video games are affecting their grades and social life, using statistics, facts, and solid evidence.
So this worksheet's a lot like the last one from last week, where in the intervention boxes, all you have to write is the interventions that can be found in the week 3 worksheet.
That's what I kind of thought, but then I guess I was just confused by the process table section, because I don't know if we had that last time. So
yeah, the processes are from this week, but they've pre-filled them out for us.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so we don't have to do anything with the stages column or the processes. That just tells us what intervention we're doing it for.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share mine. I'm not sure if I'm sharing the right one or not. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Does that look like our worksheet?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, did I share the right one? So that's what I have. I was typing in keywords so I can make them a little like better later, but
Awesome.
But that's what I put on it. Okay, so then for
wait, hold on. I don't know how to get rid of your screen.
Okay, let's see. I think I can stop sharing.
I can't get back to my worksheet.
Okay, how's that?
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just wanted to show her, but it took me a second to figure out. Like, I hit share screen and it brought up like 20 screens. I'm like, oh man, which one? Okay, so self-reevaluation. So the intervention for that one.
I did behavior modification activities for self-reevaluation and self-liberation.
That one actually sounds like the most reasonable because it's behavior, so you're talking individual, it's not like social or a bunch of people.
Yeah, I just thought I kind of did the same thing for both of those because I thought maybe like if they just kept a journal about like where they thought they were personally and where they wanted to be and kind of like writing down their goals that way and stuff. I don't know. Do you guys have any other ideas?
Maybe they make their plan of how they're going to get there.
Right.
What they're going to, you know, I just like laugh to myself because I think, how hard is it? You put the controller down. But you know what? We did tell my son, he's at BYUI, is I was saying, go study out of your dorm, because he would study in his dorm and they would be doing video games, or they would just be like, you know, laughing and talking, watching movies and sharing social media and stuff. And he's like, I just can't get my homework done. And I said, go study at the library or go study at.
Yeah. Develop a plan of action.
Uh-huh.
So that would be a good thing to put there.
For the computer lab or something. Okay.
It's a good idea. Then they won't be so distracted.
Right, because then they're out and they're
used
quiet.
Yeah, where they're used to playing their 16 to 20 hours, kind of switch up the environment.
Right. Okay, self-liberation. So you could put behavior modification again, right? I'm just going to see if there was any others that could go there.
I put the same thing there.
Just self-modification again, or behavior modification. Okay, so the self-liberation one, let's see, self-reevaluation, self-liberation, is that the action, right? Where they're actually making a change or trying?
Action. Modifications made in lifestyles, behavior, and environment, and the person will often relapse, usually not prepared to work hard at changing the habit for more than 6 months.
Okay, I'm going to change mine a little bit. So in the first box under explanation of the intervention, I'm putting made a journal or write goals about where they want to be, develop a plan of action.
Uh-huh.
The next one under action, self-liberation, and behavior modification, next to that I'm putting studying at the library or at the computer lab. That definitely sounds like behavior modification. I guess that could be an environmental change too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change. Okay. So then counter conditioning. Oh, somebody remind me. I don't remember this one.
I don't know that I remember that either. So this is all under maintenance.
Let me see what it is.
Helping relationship. I feel like that one is getting all of the boys to support each other in changing up their habit.
Here we go. So counter conditioning says substitution of healthier alternative behaviors and cognitions for the unhealthy behavior. So instead of, so finding a healthier alternative to video games. So whether that be like interacting socially with other people or having specific study times. So they're not like giving up video games altogether, but like kind of like making more of a schedule for their academic.
For their studies.
Yeah, so that's
so what intervention
would
that could be? Yeah, that
would that be organizational cultural activities? Or I guess social activities would help with the social support for the behavior change.
Yeah, the helping relationship, I could see that one being a social activities. I'm just looking, what would health communication, health education, health policy enforcement, environmental change. Community mobilization. Oh man, I'm not sure. Conditioning.
Would that also be a behavior modification?
That's what I was just thinking. Like, could that also be behavior modification?
So you're substituting healthier alternative behaviors. That's what counter conditioning.
Yes, you're basically finding an alternative behavior. So, or we could just make it, I mean, you could do a social activity and so that your alternative behavior becomes something social. Plan social activities.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes a social activities. Social activities is the, and then, so be intentional, basically. Be intentional about your time, with your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in time for study and so the helping relationship one would probably be all the other roommates together, like signing a pact that says we're not going to play more than this many hours or we're going to reevaluate. You know, I think as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking faster than I'm talking. I think that if they were to have a devotional, I don't know if guys spending 16 to 20 hours a week playing video games would go to devotional, but if they had a devotional where somebody at the devotional talked about the effects of violent video games.
Yeah, or even I was thinking, like, I know that they have FHE groups up at the college.
Right.
So maybe they could use their FHE groups because that they would have girls in that group. They have girls and boys, but I feel like girls might have an influence over, you know, they might be like, oh, if the girl doesn't want me to do it, or if they ask me to go do something else instead, maybe I can, you know, replace my video game time with that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I wonder how much of a, because it says, let's see, working with a group of young men. Okay. I was going to say, I wonder if you did something where you're like bribing them with movie tickets, like you go to this devotional, you get movie tickets for going, and then at the devotional, they just hit really hard on what's healthy activities and what violent video gaming can do to both your mental health, and your social health, and your grades. I think if for helping relationships, I feel like they need to be supporting each other. But I think you hit on it too. Getting girls are big helping relationships in this particular problem, right?
Yeah.
Getting the girls at the FHE.
So you're talking about giving them rewards. So that's going to be reinforcement management, the next one down. It says increasing the rewards for positive behavior change and decreasing the rewards of the unhealthy behavior.
Yeah. And I put that under the health enforcement strategies for reinforcement management.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
For the reinforcement management, I put health enforcement strategies and then put create a rule or incentive to limit or eliminate the video games.
Okay.
Oh, that's smart, because it's kind of like breaking the honor code, sort of, I guess. Is it? Is that in the honor code? I don't even know.
I guess it depends on how violent your video game is.
I don't know that it's in the honor code. I'm not sure.
No, the honor code was made way before video game was.
That's funny.
So maybe they need to update the honor code to include.
Possibly.
That's funny.
Take the beard thing off. Let us have beards.
Yeah. I
But
think
add
that's
violent
weird.
video games on there.
Take away, yeah.
Which strategy were we using for the helping relationship part?
Wasn't that social
Oh, okay.
Social activities.
activities? And we have social activities twice then. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters as long as it matches what our, or it could be organizational cultural activities too. Isn't it? Because cultural activity is FHE.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then stimulus control. Do you want to read the definition for that one?
Yeah, I can do that. I have it pulled up. Removing reminders or cues to engage in the unhealthy behavior and adding cues or reminders to engage in the healthy behavior. I have a great idea for this one. They put the video game controller in a drawer because it's going to remove like seeing that. You know,
A drawer
obviously
they don't use very often.
yeah, I mean, obviously you can go to the drawer and like take it out and stuff, but just like not having it the first thing you see when you walk into that room, you know,
I love it.
and maybe like creating like a study area or something. I don't know.
Or actually put it away in its box so that in order to get it out and play it, it's not like all turned up and ready to go. You would have to
Yeah.
actually plug in all
Connect
the plugs,
everything.
connect it, so it kind of. I wonder which intervention that would be. Would that be environmental?
Yeah.
Environmental. I lost it. There it is.
Strategy.
Sorry.
Change
I just
strategy.
barely
Yeah.
got home from work and I'm trying to figure out where we are with.
So
We're on the
the
worksheet.
table. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the worksheet, the number 2, the table. We're at the very end of the table, so under the maintenance category, under stimulus control.
Let's see. Which class is this?
420,
HS 420.
Okay, that's what I thought.
which is behavior theories.
We're on week 9.
Don't you hate it how like it has like, you know, on Canvas it has like the number at the top, but then the title somewhere else. Like it's really hard to like remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have
hate
to
that
write it
part of
down
it. Yeah.
and cross-reference it like always. Because all of my classes are HS something.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. So the worksheet, not the one about our reading.
It's
No,
the
week
application
9.
assignment. Let's see. Yeah, worksheet 09. So social liberation.
That is realizing that the social norms are changing in the direction of supporting the healthy behavior change.
Okay. So we could do social activities for that one. We need to create a social norm that violent video games are uncool.
Mm. do you do that though? If they're playing 16 to 20 hours a week?
Right? Maybe you involve like the people who are not playing to invite them to places.
For mine, I put just have them reach out and make new friends. People who maybe aren't gonna be encouraging them or tempting them to fall back into their old habits.
Ooh, that's a really good idea. Because at this point, this is maintenance where they should be like, okay, I already want to change and I'm changed, and so make new friends.
Because I mean, you do that for like a drug addict. Like you wouldn't want them to go hang out with their drug buddies if they've gone through all this hard work.
Right.
Maybe change dorms.
You could
Oh,
if
yeah,
you're
new roommates.
Get new roommate.
if your roommates were the ones influencing you.
Right? So would that be like an environmental change maybe too, right?
That's what I put.
Okay. So Tony, are you all caught up with us?
No, I'm not finding the worksheet.
So it's actually on week 9 and worksheet. Week 9 worksheet it's called at the end
Of the week.
module.
Yeah.
It's like in a different tab. It's not on the group meeting tab.
It's all the same stuff that it's on group meeting, but it's different.
Yeah.
Okay. Not finding it?
No.
So you're on week 9 module, and then you're going to go to the bottom to worksheet. And it's called the Trans-Theoretical Stages of Change Model Application Assignment.
Are you leaving?
Okay.
That's an ice cream. Actually, your parents aren't staying very long, right? So, are you all studying to be health educators?
Yeah, public health is my major. Yep.
That's cool.
I'm almost done.
Me too.
Oh, that's cool.
4 more weeks or whatever, 5, whatever it is. 5 more weeks.
I have 4 more months, 5 more months. 1 more semester with my internship, and I just have 1 class.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, did you do an internship yet, Carissa?
I did.
What'd you do?
I was really lucky. It wasn't it was with the Eastern Idaho Down Syndrome Family Connect Group.
Cool. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. They were so flexible with me, and like pretty much all of my work was at home, which was super nice because I'm a stay-at-home mom, and it was really nice.
So what did you do for them?
It wasn't like a lot to prepare you for like anything unless you're going to be working with like a nonprofit organization. But which I probably won't be. But I kind of just helped them like with organizing some of the programs that they had going on.
Tony,
Oh.
are you also studying health education?
Well, years ago, I started this program back in 2011 or 12, and everything's changed. So I'm actually going to be changing my major because I have no way to do an internship. I mean,
Oh,
there's just no way to make it happen with my schedule. So I've tried. I've been talking to him this whole semester to see if there's anything I can do. And I don't know how 18 years of experience in the healthcare industry doesn't
count.
just kind of say you don't really need that. But
they won't count your job as an internship.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in multiple areas of the healthcare industry. I'm a physical therapist assistant and a massage therapist. So I've worked in inpatient, I've worked in outpatient, I've worked in skilled nursing facilities. I've been an assistant director of rehab. I taught 5.5 years in a PTA program. I set up clinical rotations for students through all that time all across the country.
They don't count.
They won't count any of it because experience doesn't tend to matter. So I said, how is it that my experience over these last 18 years doesn't just, what am I going to learn in an internship that I don't already know or have it done?
So
How
true.
long of an internship do you have to have?
It's
200 hours.
200 hours.
You can spread that out over like 2 semesters, I think. But.
Yeah, you can, but you have to do at least 10 hours a week. And like when I just jumped on just before 9, I just barely finished my day, which started at 7. So I don't have 10 hours a week to do something completely separate.
What do you do right now?
I actually work at BYU in their athletic department doing massage.
So would they not just sign that as like, this is his internship?
I asked them about that. They said no, they won't count that either. The lady in charge of the internships. So I'm
That's
just like,
so lame.
I'm done. I'm gonna change to university studies and take 2 religion classes and be done.
Oh my
because
God.
I've been doing
so that's all
school.
you'd have to do? You'd be done if you do university studies?
Yeah. And I'm where I want to be doing massage, and I've got a book that's getting published, so I'm not really worried about trying to find a job in the healthcare industry.
And you've got experience anyways, right?
Yeah.
Usually they look more, and once you go to get a job, they're going to look at more at your experience and less at your degree. If your degree is slightly related, then
not always true either. Like I tried to get a job a few years ago teaching. Like I said, I already taught for 5 years at that point, and the place I applied to, they said it came down to me and one other guy. He had a bachelor degree. I had experience. They hired him.
Yeah.
He couldn't teach, so they fired him after 3 months. And I said, when are people going to realize
experience matters?
Yeah. At Provo College, I had the best teaching scores of any of the teachers in the building.
Oh my God.
But, hey, whatever. So I'm just going to change. And
I think the internship thing is stupid also.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this done.
Frustrating.
So Tony, have you considered, so the internship is, I just have been going through all of it, and it's very specific to the actual packet they give you, where you have to develop or implement a plan, a program plan. Have you thought about so that's your job right now, is doing massage and everything. Have you thought about just developing some program where you within your job and just you create a handout about healthy massage stretching techniques to improve stress or whatever, where you wouldn't have to maybe you don't want to put in the 200 hours at this point, but
They said they can't do anything related to my current job.
Oh,
I said I could do and do like a study where I look at other sports athletic programs and how are they treating injuries in maybe other schools across the country with different athletics and compare that to what we're doing. And they said, well, go and talk to somebody and see if they have something like that set up. And I did, and they said no. So because they didn't have it already set up, they won't let me do anything else. So like I said, I'm just kind of tired.
yeah.
I'm tired of working 12 to 15 hours a day and doing homework. And I just want to be finished.
Done. Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I hate it when their lines are so rigid that they won't like stop in individual circumstances. That stinks.
Yeah, it would be nice with just a little bit of understanding.
Right? Compassion from somebody going, look, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want, and this is the only thing holding me back. And time in than this. Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you get some good religion teachers and it'll be a breeze. Sail right through.
So far religion is always easy. Yeah, no worries there.
I enjoyed all my religion classes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe slightly bummed when I didn't have to take them anymore. They're like, yo, you met it all year. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, did you find our worksheet we're on?
Yes.
Okay. We're down to number 3, expected impact. According to the TTM/SE model, each intervention is driven by a specific process. What do you expect the impact to be or end result on the individual as a result of each intervention? It should be more than just moving intervention or individuals through stages. Insert your response here. Okay. You guys.
So the expected impact is that the young men will lose the desire to play the video games, right? Like that's what we want to happen.
Over all of them, but you have to do individual.
Oh, you have to do like
a bullet point list.
Oh, okay.
So we have to do like our education strategy. We expect this will do.
Well, I'm not sure if they want like each individual thing or if they want like as a group like pre-contemplation, contemplation. I guess it says through each intervention and not each stage.
Each intervention, yeah. And it does, I was looking, according to the TTM model, which is the process part, but then it says each intervention is the next part. So, okay, so we have to like do it by a bullet point. So we would, should we just write intervention, all interventions, or should we write the process and the intervention next to it? Or the stage and the intervention next to it?
I don't know. I think I might just do the stages. Call it good.
Okay. Each intervention is driven by a specific process. What do you expect the impact to be? Okay, so pre-contemplation, we expect that to educate them educate the boys on the impact of violent video games. And increase their desire to change their behavior, or get them, or spark a desire.
Just make them realize.
So on Pre-contemplation, that's more of just the recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Recognizing.
know, you're not trying to get them to change their behavior at this point. Just recognize even
They
how
need
much
a
time
change.
they're spending.
Yeah, because the
Not even that, just
contemplation.
recognize how much time they're spending on the video game would be probably a pretty good one for pre-contemplation.
And then maybe contemplation would be getting them to recognize the effects the video game could have on them. And preparation. This is their spark of desire to quit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or desire to change their behavior. This is also where they make a plan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Develop an action plan or a plan of action.
Yeah. So kind of where you guys were talking about taking the controller, putting it somewhere else, that kind of stuff could be part of the plan and the preparation.
An action.
Them actively decreasing the amount of time on the video game.
And making to okay. So then maintenance might be making efforts to avoid triggers or things that would friends or
Mhm.
And also like developing a new social interest.
yeah. Changing roommates. Okay, and then limitations for target of change. When using this model and its process, what limitations did you discover for this situation? The limitations are how to reach them in the first place. If they're spending 16 to 20 hours doing video
Mhm.
games and the rest of the time in class, where are you going to reach them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, if they're spending that much time doing video games, are they even going to FHE, right?
Typically not. Because so many of the games become almost real life to people. That's all they connect with. And so, and especially depending on how old they were when they started playing games that much, just the ability to connect socially with other people is stunted or limited and can make it hard for them to even get out into a public setting, even classrooms.
It's so scary. Kids start so young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coaching PE right now, and when I ask the kids what they do, like for fun, so many of them respond video games. So sad, so scary.
I have an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old boy and an 8-year-old boy, and they like love to play, and I like hate video games, and so I limit them to like 30 minutes a week. Like nothing, right? And so I took them to the pediatrician for their well check, and they're like, the pediatrician's like, so, how much video games do you play? And my son was like, we play all the time. It's like my favorite. And I'm like, go ahead, tell them how much time you get per week. And they're like, we get 30 minutes. And the pediatrician's like, what? They're like, oh, we expect like less than 2 hours per day or whatever. I'm like, I hate it. It's like always like a fight to
2 hours a day.
Less, yeah, keep it
That
under
is
2.
so much.
It is so
much time. Yeah.
It is so much, and they just don't have time like during the week.
Man,
they play on Saturday.
how does a person have 2 hours in a day?
With like homework. I mean, my son's in junior high, and he has lots of homework, and they do sports and like all kinds of stuff. So, but yeah, I was like so embarrassed when my son was like, "We get to play all the time," and I'm like, "My goodness."
You're like, yeah, tell her how much is all the time.
Yeah. Out
Really
of the mouth of
embarrassing.
babes. It was embarrassing.
You're like, I'm glad to hear that 30 minutes sounds like all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, reflection. Your thoughts on using this model for behavior change, both in a situation and generally?
So is that just like our personal,
Probably, huh?
I guess? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Tony, do you want us to go over any of them?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Oh. Do you want us to write a letter to the school and tell them that's not fair?
We'll sign a
No.
petition for you.
Right.
I'm pretty much done with that aspect.
Oh,
I have other things that I'm
new
doing,
worries.
that I'm focusing on, so
Good for you.
I'm happy with this change in how seminary is going to start going. My wife told me maybe you should get in and teach seminary. I don't know.
That's what my sister does, and she loves it.
My sister does too.
Oh no. Yeah, she has her degree in political science, but she's doing seminary.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
that's just a couple of more education or what you call it, classes, religion classes, I
Yeah.
believe, to be able to do that. So I'm the gospel doctrine teacher in my ward, so
Oh, cool.
that's good.
So you're
stuff.
all studied up and ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording and try to share it then.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
See you all next
Thanks,
week.
everybody. Oh, who's our new leader next week?
Who wants to lead?
Who hasn't had a turn?
I haven't done it yet, so I can do it.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.